For most of my life, I believed that there was some kind of supreme being out there somewhere in the vast array of galaxies. But it wasn't until I was 16 years old that I actually encountered the creator of those galaxies, and it changed my life forever. I vividly remember standing in a field out in front of a local church on 14th and Old Cheney. A friend of mine invited me to a concert, so I went. So here I stood, standing at this concert in this field at this church, listening to some local band sing praises to God. Just before the final song, the lead singer stood up and shared his testimony. He said, God had brought purpose, meaning, and life into him, and that Christ could do the exact same thing for me. It was like I was the only one in the crowd because, man, that really resonated with me. At that moment in time, I was just really empty. I was some lost soul wandering around trying to fill this deep hole in my heart. I didn't know how. And at that moment, I decided to dedicate my life to Christ. Even though I didn't know exactly what that meant, I did it. And believe it or not, I started to pray. And I started to read the Bible, and I started hanging out with other people who believed in God. And the result was that I fell head over heels in love with God. Since that moment in that field, my life has been eternally different. After high school, I went to college at Nebraska Christian College. I lived in Thailand for a year, teaching leadership classes. I worked at a couple churches. And along the way, I lost some friends and I gained some friends. I met my wife and got hitched. The road has been really, really hard. Harder than I ever imagined that it would have been. But I am so grateful to God for where He has me, and I wouldn't trade a moment of my past for anything. Recently, I've been serving at Kingsway Christian Church, just about for the last 3 months as the youth pastor and pastoral intern. The longer I'm here, the more I get to know people. And the more I get to know people, the more I realize that this church is exactly where I need to be right now. Kingsway has a really, really rich history and has been very influential in the community by planting churches and supporting local ministries all around the city. It started over 25 years ago when God planted a vision in two men's hearts. They hired David Haynes to be their lead pastor, and he served here for over 20 years. Today, Raleigh Hutton is the senior pastor, and the church continues to grow. I am so grateful to God that I'm a part of Kingsway and their legacy, and hopefully I make an influence while I'm here for the cause of Christ.